Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday sa inyong lahat and welcome to this. I guess I would say this is a very special edition ng AMA natin, which is obviously not an AMA but an AUA kasi Ask Us Anything session natin to. But it's super special kasi this evening, as you guys are aware, we're actually live from the page ni John rather than just the community, the exclusive community natin. And we're also, I think we're actually live on YouTube as well, dun sa YouTube channel natin. So, and I think we've already got a bit of a crowd gathered to watch us this evening. I'm watching yung mga comments niyo. We're so glad that you guys can join us this evening. And we're super excited as well. Ako, personally, super excited. Kasi this is a reunion of sorts for me. Mamaya explain ko kung bakit. So it's a bit of a long story, but uh, in short, itong mga guests natin, yung panel natin who's going to be answering some of your questions this evening are actually some of the few people that I first grouped with nung when I came back into the tribe. And so I'm super excited yung mga guests natin for this evening. And without further ado, let's welcome yung mga guests natin. Pero sorry before I go to that, I want to just say hi to everybody who's watching. I know you guys are tagging like crazy. And feel free to tag anybody who you might know, family, friends, colleagues from work, people who you think will benefit from the session that we're going to be doing tonight. Um, Again, yung session natin is going to be all about how we connect with yung mga freelance clients natin or prospects. So if anybody's into freelancing or is looking into freelancing, nakakilala ninyo, this is definitely going to be a value-filled session where we answer some really good questions for you guys about connecting with freelance clients. Now, sabi ko nga, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and introduce the panel that we have for this evening. So yung unang kasama natin is a coach sa loob ng Freelance Movement Tribe. And what she does specifically is she helps femtech o yung mga female, I don't know exactly, I'll have to let her explain later on. Pero femtech and health tech companies grow their user base through audience focused content marketing. So she's a content marketing genius. We would like to welcome si Coach Gladdy. Hi Coach.
Hola.
Hola.
Hi.
Magandang gabi sa iyo.
Hola.
I
Hi.
hope you're doing well. Kamusta?
Ay naman, miss ka namin.
Mamaya natin pag-usapan yan kasi hindi nila alam kung ba't sinasabi natin yun, di ba?
Sige,
Anyway, the
sige.
next guest that we have for this evening to answer your questions about freelancing and looking for clients, what she does is she helps hotels increase bookings through compelling social media content. We have si PJ Neri.
Hi everyone! Good evening!
Hi
Good evening
PJ.
din sa mga nanonood tsaka sa mga masterminds.
Meron ka bang i-shout out?
Yun nga, masterminds and
Yung mga
Toastmasters. Mga
masterminds.
nasa
Oh, yun.
Toastmasters din.
Nice. Okay, cool. Next up, yung kasama natin, the other or the third member of our panel for this evening na sasagot ng mga tanong ninyo. What she does is she helps med spa businesses build brand authority to get more clients using her 5-point client attraction strategy. Parang ang haba, it's a mouthful, no? Pero we'll find out more about that. We have si Gail Kagiwa. Hi, Gail.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Good
Good evening
evening.
sa'yo. Kamusta?
Shout out sa mga masterminds. May pa-shout out. Sorry, sir.
Mamaya, kasi hindi nila alam yung masterminds na yan. Yung iba,
Yeah, okay.
Some people might not know kung ano yung masterminds, but we'll explain that later siguro. And finally, to round up yung panel natin for this evening, yung guest natin, yung final guest natin, she helps female coaches increase lead conversion through conversion-driven funnels. What we have si Ria Cruz. Hi, Ria.
Hi everyone. Shout out sa packet.
Okay. Talagang magtataka yung mga nanonood sa atin kung ano yung mga pinagsasasabi ninyo. But we're excited to have you ladies this evening. Parang na-outnumber pala ako ngayon, no? Wala tayong guest na lalaki, no? Pero nonetheless, I'm sure this is gonna be a super, sabi ko nga, value-filled episode ng Ask Us Anything session natin. And for those watching, What we do during these sessions is basically we answer some of the most pressing questions na meron kayo regarding freelancing, establishing a freelance business in general. So what we're going to try to do this evening, guys, is we're going to try to answer some pre-screened questions. Pero for the benefit of those of you who are watching, I will probably pick maybe 2, 3, or 4 questions from the live audience na meron tayo who's watching right now. We have about 300 people watching. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. And so any questions that you may have that has something to do with finding freelance clients, yun yung pag-uusapan natin. Again, any questions that you may have about that's revolves around connecting with or finding yung mga freelance client. Obviously, yung mga guests natin for this evening, they are freelancers. Meron silang mga freelance business. Some of them have been doing it for quite some time. Some of them started siguro a little less than a year ago. But we'll find out. Pero ang maganda nito, they've got tons of experience that they can share with us. They have a lot of learnings that they've gathered in the last years or months that they've been doing freelancing. And if you're somebody who's looking to start your freelancing journey, or you're already doing it pero for some reason you're having a hard time getting clients in your pipeline, or you're always at parang anong tawag nila doon, feast and famine, 'di ba? Na parang kuminsan may client, kuminsan wala. This is gonna be an awesome AMA session para sa'yo. Okay, let's jump right in. Okay, we're not gonna talk about backgrounds and all of that, pero we're gonna jump right into the first question, and you guys can all answer kung gusto niyo. I'm not gonna call any names. Okay. First question that we got. Okay, ayan, medyo may questions na pala tayo na dumarating from the audience. Mamaya babalikan ko yan. But first question. Okay. One of the members of the community sent this in. Sabi niya, my main challenge is that I'm a complete beginner. Okay, the college course I finished is healthcare related, and very little ang knowledge ko with marketing and web development and such, which are my target skills. I'm currently trying to learn, but it's a bit of a struggle without instruction or without a clear end game in sight for me. Parang feeling ko minsan walang silbi yung natututunan ko. Very basic, and baka ma-shrug off lang ng potential clients. Can you help me? What should I do? Now, before you answer, I want to kind of put some context here. Kasi it's all about finding clients, di ba? Okay. For somebody who's a complete beginner, ano sa tingin nyo yung first step that anybody should take if they're jumping in head first without any experience whatsoever dito sa freelancing na career na to? Huwag kayo mag-unahan.
Sige, ako na una. Kasi sobrang kabado ng iba. Sama natin.
Say,
So,
Coach.
sige, as a beginner, it would help if meron na kayong idea of what you're good at, what you can offer personally. So, lahat naman tayo may pinanggagalingan na experience na parang strong, things that we're strong at, things that we're good at. Magandang i-list down nyo lahat yon. So, halimbawa, you're strong with graphics, you're strong with writing, lahat ng ganun. Kasi sa freelancing world naman, madaming opportunities, madaming skills that you can pursue as a service. And there's a high possibility na kung ano yung strong ka na sa ngayon, what you're already good at, there's a chance that there are clients out there who already need that. So, ilista mo lang para meron kang idea of what you can offer and who you would like to work with, people you're interested to help. Actually, yun dapat muna. Pero nga parang when you're just starting, kasi for many of us, marami sa atin galing from employment, galing from school background, siguro nag-aaral pa, things like that. So, mas clear sa atin yung what we can already do. And it helps namang galing dun sa place na where you're already confident in to begin with. So, yan lang muna. yung iba baka may ma-add pa.
Cool. PJ, Gail, Ria, what are your thoughts? If I'm starting out, halimbawa ako, kasi for whatever reason, I'm forced to, or not forced, but I want to jump into freelancing. What do I do first? Syempre, ang unang problema niyan, where do I get the clients, di ba? What do I do first?
Pwede na ba?
Sige, ikaw
Go ahead,
muna.
Gail.
Ayan, okay,
Yeah.
go. So, I can relate dun sa question na healthcare siya. Kumbaga yung background niya is nasa healthcare. So, actually, yan yung number one struggle ko nung nag-join ako ng tribe. Ito, honestly speaking, once I joined the tribe, unang tanong ko, sabi ko sa sarili ko, nurse ako. Parang wala akong idea. Ano ba yung social media? Ano ba yung website? Ano ba yung YouTube? Paano ba yan? Parang yun agad yung question ko. Tapos hindi pa ako techie. Kasi aside from being a registered nurse, I'm into traditional marketing. So alam ko mag-market, pero hindi ko alam paano gawin using social media. And doon ako nag-struggle. Kasi isip ako ng isip, ano bang skill yung i-offer ko?
Mhm.
So parang, alam mo yun, parang yeah, given, dapat choose muna yung market, ganyan. But then, andun yung hesitation, andun siya. Andun yung hesitation na parang mag-step forward or mag-follow pa nung mga steps sa tribe. Nandun yung hesitation kasi parang andun yung limiting belief na parang kakayanin ko ba na tulungan sila? Eh, hindi ko alam kung paano gawin yan. So parang dahil doon, na-stuck ako. So kung ikaw, beginner ka, para ito lang yung masasabi ko or masasuggest ko, huwag kang magpaka-stuck doon sa kakaisip ko ano yung skill. Kasi marami nabibiktima dyan. Isa na ako doon. So first thing first, know your target market. Sino yung gusto mong tulungan? And yung sinabi ni Coach Gladys na list down yung mga kung saan ka magaling, kung saan ka nag-excel. So parang wag ka na lalayo, wag ka na mag-isip ng ibang bagay na ibang industry na gusto mong iserve. Kung halimbawa nasa hotel ka, nasa restaurant ka, ako tulad ko, may spa business ako. Parang ba't ka pa lalayo? Alam mo na yung gagawin doon. So hindi mo pwedeng i-label yung sarili mo na hindi ka marunong, hindi ka expert ka. Kasi you're very familiar with the industry. Ang kailangan mo na lang after that, saka mo na isipin yung yung skill. Kung ano yung i-offer mo. Kasi once you know your target market or your ideal client, yung preferred mo na client na i-serve or tulungan, madali na siya. Sunod-sunod na siya. I'm not saying na super madali, pero madali na siya. Mas madali mo siyang maiintindihan kasi you know kung ano yung kailangan nila. Siyempre, ikaw sa sarili mo biglang you serve that certain industry, same industry. So, you have this idea, ano ba yung common na challenges, problems, and of course, research. Yun talaga. And siyempre, don't forget, reach out. Yun din. Yun lang.
Okay. Thank you, Gil. Now, before PJ and Ria gives their answers, mamaya I'm gonna throw a follow-up question sa inyo related dun sa question na yon. Kasi this is, not exactly a hot topic. Pero sa mundo ng freelancing, there's different approaches to establishing your name in the freelance world, kumbaga. And I want to hear your thoughts about that later on. Pero balik tayo dun sa question natin. If you're starting out, Ria, ikaw muna. You're starting out from scratch, from nothing. Maybe you had a corporate job before. Maybe, you were forced into looking for another way to earn money. And ito yung naisip mo. What would you do?
For me, nakaka-relate din kasi ako doon sa scenario niya or doon sa situation niya kasi iba din yung background ko or yung degree ko doon sa work na ginagawa ko. So, accountancy graduate ako pero yung ginagawa ko is all about funnels and web development. So, ang first thing na
Ang layo, no?
'di ba? Oo.
Diba?
Malayo talaga, wala ka. So, ang first thing na dapat mong gawin or isipin is natututunan lahat ng bagay. Wag mong isara yung sarili mo dun sa kung ano yung tinapos mo o kung nasaang industry ka ngayon. Kasi kung napag-aralan mo yun before, yung mapipili mo naman na skill is matututunan mo rin. And yun, actually nag-agree ako dun sa sinabi din ni Gail at saka ni Coach Glad. One way to know kasi kung ano yung target market mo din is to list down kung ano yung mga strength mo and weakness. So dun ka magfo-focus. Yung sa'yo, since nasa healthcare ka, unfair advantage mo na yan eh. Kasi nandyan ka na sa industry or yan na yung skill na meron ka. So use that. So kung mag-research ka about dun sa industry na kinabibilangan mo, kung ano ba yung kailangan nila, and then from there, dun mo na i-gather ano ba yung pwede mong matutunan na pwedeng nabagay dun sa market na target mo. Yeah.
Okay. So, kind of similar to what parang pinagsama mo yung kay Gail and kay Coach Gladdy sa sinabi mo. Diba? Bank on your
Yes po.
strengths, but at the same time, focus on what's already around you. If you're already in a specific industry, that might be a good place to start. Kumbaga.
Yes.
And by the way, let me emphasize yung sinabi mo kanina. A lot of us graduate ng accountancy, graduate ng engineering, graduate ng kung ano-ano man yan, di ba? Ilang percent ba sa atin ang nakakuha ng first job natin na related sa pinag-aralan natin? Di ba?
Wala. Madaming wala. Hindi
Diba?
connect.
I for one. Anyway, let's talk about that more later. PJ, what are your thoughts sa question na to?
Actually, tama rin yung lahat naman sinabi nila tama eh. Tapos yung sinabi din ni Regina. My take on it is that it's not easy to pick a market. It's very, very difficult. Actually, a lot of freelancers, yan yung pinaka-difficult na, kumbaga, that they go through to pick a market. So, from my experience, what I did was I started with my own network. And that's the first time I got a client. I didn't know anything about freelancing. Malayong-malayo din yung background ko, yung sa work, sa freelancing. So siguro yung ma-advise ko for people who are starting, you don't have to have all the equipment or knowledge that is available. To tell you honestly, when I started my first gig as a freelancer, I only had a cell phone and a laptop that's not really working properly, but I managed to deliver results dun sa client. Kasi para-paraan, if you really want to learn something, you really want to make it work, then you'll find a way. So, even with those limitations, dun ko natutunan yung Canva, yung mga, di ba, sa social media marketing. I didn't know anything about that. Pero yun nga, parang you learn more when you were already doing the job. So, wag tayong malimitahan dahil kasi let's say you want to be a social media marketer or you want to be this, you want to do this. Marami namang resources available. The thing is, if you really are, driven or motivated to really help that client, then whatever resources you have, you'll really make it work. So, yun yung nagustuhan ko rin sa tribe because yung mindset kasi sa tribe come from a place of help. We hear it all the time, but it's the truth. Even if you're already inside the tribe, yun ang talagang value na kumbaga sineshape yung mga freelancers to come from a place of help and apply that when you choose a market, when you eventually have a client. So whatever tools you have really doesn't matter because you will make a way to make it work for your client.
Thank you, PJ.
I don't know if that answers the question. But yeah.
By the way, I know marami tayong nanonood who are part of the community and the tribe as well. Pero I'm sure there are other people who are watching who might have no idea ano ba yung sinasabi nating tribe, ano yung sinasabi natin na freelancing community na to. For those maybe, I don't know, 8 people maybe, what they're talking about is we have this community called the Freelance Movement Community. It's actually a free community where you can be a part of if you want to learn all about freelancing. So you can join that free community where we give a lot of tips, a lot of actionable advice on how to start freelancing. Pero yung tribe is another community. It's an exclusive community though. It's a paid community where we share a lot more kumbaga doon namin. Just briefly, I just wanted to put that out para hindi nalilito yung mga nanonood sa atin. Now, I said I was gonna throw a follow-up question. Okay? And marami, in my experience with talking to a lot of freelancers, yung isa sa pinakamalaking struggle nila, and especially for freelancers na they're already doing it, nag-freelance na sila, but for some reason they struggle with, getting consistent clients month in, month out, or nagsistruggle sila to sell their services to potential clients. There's always this parang seesaw back and forth discussion about, do I go with skills first, or do I really just go with market first? And I know medyo napahagingan na ni Gail kanina ng konti yung usapan na yan. And I wanna kind of discuss that with you guys. What do you think are the advantages of going with one, kumaga, with skill first? Ano naman yung advantage with going with the market first? Now, by the way, this is still in the context of acquiring clients. Pinag-uusapan natin dito is how you get freelance clients. So in the context of getting clients, okay, ano sa tingin niyo yung advantages ng each of those, kumbaga, methods of starting out? Oh, nag-uunahan na naman kayo. How about Ria? Let's hear your thoughts first. Ikaw muna.
Sa akin kasi yung nangyari is skill first yung nauna bago yung market. And the thing with it is kapag nauna yung skill kaysa sa market, nagba-branch out na kasi siya kasi madaming skills yung connected to each other. So if you picked one, yung mga kakabit niya, matututunan mo rin. Like for example, mag-create ka ng graphics. Connected doon yung social media management or marketing. So yun, connected na siya. Ang pag naman market, ang una mong pipiliin, malalaman mo na kasi agad yung pain points nung target market mo. So alam mo na kung ano yung offer na or yung service na i-offer mo sa kanila. So yun, pag skill yung pinili mo, madami kang matututunan na skills. Yun yung advantage niya. Kasi complementary skills. Pero pag market yung pinili mo, you can focus on their pain points, which in turn, magbe-benefit sa'yo kasi malalaman mo kung ano yung right offer para sa kanila.
Okay, cool. So si Ria started with the skill first approach. Okay. I'm curious, Ria, when you started freelancing the way the tribe was teaching it, did you have to make quite a bit of adjustment, and how long did it take for you to actually land your first, let's say, premium client, kumbaga?
When I started sa tribe kasi, that was 2019. So, sakto na yung market and skill ko nag-swak na. So, it was siguro simultaneous. Parang yung ginagawa ko na before, mas na patatag ng tribe. Parang nandun na ako, hindi ko lang alam na yun pala yung tinuturo
okay.
ng tribe.
Nice.
Yun. After nun, yun, in-apply ko na lang din yung mga natutunan ko. Kaya, after that first client, nagtuloy-tuloy na din yung inflow.
Cool. Nice. Anybody else want to give their answers dun sa question na yun?
I can
What's
answer.
what's the advantage of one over the other?
I can answer that question. Siguro kasi pag skill, I feel na of course when you're so good at one skill, then 'di ba parang easier to do things. But the thing is, nangyari din kasi sa akin yun na like I'm so concentrated on social media marketing na okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Pero I've also encountered times when I spoke to a client, tapos pinagpipilitan ko yung skill ko na hindi, dapat ito, dapat ito. So parang sila, hindi nga yan yung kailangan ko eh. Alam mo yun? So kailangan talaga, we have to listen to the client, to the market, what do they really need? Kasi pag pagpipilitin natin na parang, I'm good at this, you have to do this, you have to do this. If it doesn't answer their problem, then it's really useless. What the freelance movement tribe has also taught me is that yun nga, you really listen to the market, the problem, because if you are there to, you are there to really, empathize with them, really learn what their problem is, then yung solutions are everywhere. Hindi naman kailangan ikaw lang magsosolve lahat nun eh. madaming paraan para mag-solve ng problema ng client. Let's say, if I spoke to a client, ang offer ko is social media marketing, and ang kailangan niya website, ba't ko pagpipilitan ng isang bagay na okay naman na sila dun sa department na yun? So I have to find solutions na hindi kailangan sobrang gamay na gamay ko, di ba? So you have to be flexible din. The bottom line is, you have to know what their problem is, you find a solution to their problem. So wag masyado ring focus doon sa gusto mo. At the same time din, pag masyado tayong focus sa skill, hindi kailangan mo na akong gumaling dito, kailangan kong gumaling. Ang dami laging update, di ba? Parang before you finish something, may bago ulit. So you can't keep up. The best way to learn is to really learn on the job. Like right now, I have a client, may mga bagay na hindi ko alam gawin, pero pinag-aaralan ko. Tapos yung iba, pinapagawa ko na lang sa iba because you cannot, it's not really like, what do you call this? Hindi tayo din superwoman, superman. So it's okay to ask help to delegate or to outsource. So there's nothing wrong with that. So yun yung disadvantage pag masyado tayong focus sa skill.
Cool. Okay. Now I
Ron,
wanna.
dagdagan ko lang yung sabi ni PJ quickly.
Yep.
So, when it comes to settling that debate, whether market ba dapat or skill, siguro the easiest way to settle that is to look at freelancing as it's all about problem solving. Diba? Freelancing is all about problem solving. And how do we best solve a problem? If we really understand sino ba nung may problem, tungkol saan ba yung problem, and all that jazz. And kagaya ng sabi ni PJ na marami kasing ways to solve a problem. Halimbawa, ang problem ay naiinitan ako, ang init-init-init. Ang dami pwedeng gawin para ma-solve yun. Pwede mong buhusan ng tubig, pwedeng magbukas ng aircon, bigyan mo ng ice cream, ang daming pwede. Pero ano ba yung best approach to solve a problem? It's by really digging deep, talagang really getting to the cause of what's the problem. And how do we do that? By identifying sino ba nung market first? Sino ba nung gusto nating tulungan? By getting to know the problem, the market better, sino sila, what do they go through on a daily basis, ano ba ng business nila, what do they do with their business, ano ba ng biggest struggles nila sa business na yon. We come up with the best possible solutions na pwede nating ibigay. That's where the services come in. That's where the skills come in. Yung skill natin is basically the solution to their problem, to the problem that we intend to solve. Now, yung solution, sabi nga ni PJ, can change over time. Can change depende dun sa needs or dun sa problem that we aim to solve. Then we can adjust yung solution, pero yung getting to know the problem very, very well is a process that really takes time. It takes time to get to know a market. It takes time to build networks by talking to them individually. So it's really better to really get to know bakit ka ba naiinitan? Ano ba anong nafe-feel mo? What can I do? Para to be able to identify a solution, we need to know the problem first. So yun lang siguro.
Definitely. Now, I want to quickly go back lang before siguro magbigay ng answer si Gail. Again, in the context of kasi connecting with potential clients tayo, di ba? What we really aim to be able to achieve dito sa interview natin is to let everybody know na it's possible for you to connect with potential clients. Okay? I just threw that in sort of as a curveball kasi napag-usapan natin. Pero let's bring it back to the main kumbaga topic that we're really talking about. So I'll kind of go back to that first question. Let's say bago ako. Sorry, Gayla. You can answer this first kung gusto mo. Let's say bago ako and I want to find clients. Where do I go to find my first clients, kumbaga? Yun na lang siguro. Yun yung pinaka mas magandang way to put this question. Where do I go to find my first clients? Now, many people might say may Upwork dyan, may OLJ dyan, may freelancer.com. That's probably common knowledge for people who might want to look for clients. Pero, in your experience, paano nyo nakuha yung first clients ninyo? Yan. Can you tell a story of how it happened?
Ako na mag-start, Sir Ron. So,
Sige, Gail.
okay, just want to share a little bit ng experience ko starting from nung nag-join ako sa tribe last June. So, at first, sabi kasi, di ba, you have to find client. So, anong kailangan mong gawin? You need to show up. So, kailangan dyan yung pag-optimize mo ng profile. So, punta ka sa LinkedIn. And then, optimize ka ng profile, ganyan. Then, mag-connect ka. And then kung kaya mo rin gumawa ng Facebook account and yun nga, optimize mo din yung Facebook account mo and Instagram if you have. And ito yung struggle. Honestly, ito yung struggle ko noon. Kasi una sa lahat, Facebook account ko is very private. So sabi ko, I'm thinking twice kung gagawin ko ba siyang parang i-convert ko into freelancing, something like that. Kaso may business ako and parang ito yung way ko to connect with mga business owners and iba pa. So parang it's kind of confusing with them. So nag-struggle ako doon. Una sa lahat, doon ako nag-struggle. So ang ginawa ko, nag-focus ako sa LinkedIn. Nag-focus ako sa isang platform. And then eventually, nung nagka-clarity ako kung ano ba talaga yung market na gusto kong iserve last September lang ako nagka-clarity kung ano ba talaga. Ito yung nakakatawang part nakakatawa, na nakaka-overwhelm, na na-prove ko na parang sabi ko, this is it. Parang nasabi ko sa sarili ko, eto na yun, nasa right path na ako. Just want to share a bit, related din sa sinabi ni Coach Gladdy, na parang, pag nauna kasing pinili mo yung sa market mo, everything will follow na. Like, ano ba yung solution? Like, na-mention din ni PJ and ni Reg, kung ano ba yung solution dun sa certain problem ng target market mo. Ito yung nakakatawa kasi I was able to got a premium client after a month nung nagka-clarity ako. And then, na-discover ko, pwede palang pagkakitaan yung pagka-Canva. And then the latest na achievement ko is I was able to charge $100 for just one Canva graphic. And then I was able to charge at least $300 per hour ng mentorship ko. Parang ganon. So, naisip ko, parang eto pala yung sinasabi nila na once you know kung ano yung market na gusto mong iserve, malalaman mo kung ano yung challenges or problems nila, and then you can come up with a solution. Just like sa sinabi nila Coach Gladdy. So, ang ginawa ko, after the LinkedIn, since napansin ko, nag-research ako kung nasan ba itong mga med spa owner na to. Nakita ko ang dami nila sa Instagram. So, doon ako nag-start na magbuo. Doon ko talagang kumbaga nag-focus ako sa kanya na i-improve ko yung Instagram ko. So, most likely ngayon, 2 platform yung hinahandle ko para, naka-optimize siya. So, yun yung ginagamit ko for prospecting. So, kung nagtatanong ka kung saan ka mag-start, start with optimization ng profile. Very important. So, know your target market, number 1, para alamin mo kung nasan sila. Kasi yun yung key. Hindi ka kahit mag-create ka ng optimized na Facebook kung wala naman sa Facebook yung target market mo. So it will be much more harder for you. So struggle yon. So to cut yung parang hindi na ma-waste yung time. Always start with the market. Know your target client. And then research, hanapin mo kung nasan sila madalas. So may mga groups dyan. May mga Facebook group dyan ng market mo kung nakapili ka na. And then you can scout, stock, parang ganon. So, ginawa ko din yun. Stock ko, nasan ba itong mga to? Then, napansin ko, ang dami nila sa Instagram. Okay, punta ko ng Instagram. Pagtingin ko, andun na sila. So, part of it is, yun nga, kailangan mo talagang mag-show up. Kailangan mo mag-optimize. So, kasama din yun. So, start with the market. Yun lang.
Okay. Start with the market. And then sabi mo nga, find out where your market is. I think that's one very important point that you made there. For the rest of you guys, can you go deeper on that? Yung pag sinabing find out where your market is. Kasi baka syempre yung mga nanonood sa atin, para sabihin nila, ang dali nyo sabihin yun kasi obviously nandiyan na kayo eh. Pero for someone who has no idea where to start talaga, how do I even determine kung nasan yung market ko? What's the process involved? Sige, PJ, I know you're gonna say something.
Hindi. ang dami kasing ways eh. So yung mga sinabi ni Gil, totoo talaga yon. Kasi where the party is, dapat andun ka. 'Di ba?
Mhm.
Gusto ko yung party.
Kasi ano eh, parang yun, analogy. Like when you want to go where the market is, kung saan nagpa-party yung market mo, doon ka pumunta. So, hindi porket like I had a client na parang gusto niya lahat. Hindi, parang kailangan kung saan talaga nag-hangout yung market mo kasi you don't want to hear crickets at the end of the day, 'di ba? Na parang andun ka nga, wala naman sila doon.
Yeah.
Another thing that Gail mentioned is optimizing yung profile, di ba? I never knew that we had to do that. But ang advantage kasi noon, it makes your life so much easier because doon ka makakakuha ng inbound leads. Kasi imagine your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram or Facebook as your billboard, your personal billboard. Now, if somebody chanced upon that billboard, they will automatically know what you do. So pag nakita nila yon, okay, masusolve ni PJ yung problem ko kasi she's talking to me. It has to be attention grabbing and very clear enough na pag nakita ng target market mo, ay, yan yung kailangan kong solusyon sa problema ko eh. Just a bit of kwento lang, Sir Ron. Anyway, sometimes...
Ron na lang kasi. Sir, okay.
Alam nyo, sometimes din kasi, ako, yung sa personal experience ko naman, I got my first client dahil lang sa pagchichikahan with a friend. Let's say, chika-chika with a friend, catch up, biglang, my friend needs someone to manage her social media. Parang, ting! Diba? Parang, just by listening to people within your network. Another experience is I sent a Clubhouse invite by mistake to somebody in my network na hindi ko nakausap for years. And now he's a client. So never take your network for granted kasi it could be, a teeming net of fish. So there are other ways, pero in my experience, yun yung nag-work. Parang sometimes we're looking so far ahead na dito siguro, pero yung pala sa network mo, ang dami din pala yun. So don't take that for granted.
Okay, nice. Thank you for the answer. Ria, Coach Ladi, meron pa kayong gustong idagdag?
Yes. Ayan, i-emphasize ko lang yung sinabi ni PJ about maximizing our personal networks. Kasi minsan talaga na overlook natin yon na sa network pala natin and dami ng pasok dun sa target market that we've chosen. Pero ang idea kasi natin is kailangan international yung client ko, kailangan ganyan, kailangan na may website, ganyan. Pero sa personal network mo, ang dami na pala. So, make sure to make suyod your personal network first. Kasi baka andyan na yung potential clients mo, tutukain ka na, hindi mo pa alam. Or they're equally capable of paying premium fees or yung that could somehow give you the income level that you want, pero dinidismiss mo lang sila. And there are other ways to find them, like siguro one of the easiest is yung mga freelancing sites. Kasi andun na talaga yung you can search doon sa loob ng sites according to the market and just go through yung needs nila kasi pre-qualified na sila somehow kasi may job posting na nakalagay na doon, requirements nila. Hindi mo na kailangan hulaan what they need. So it's easy to do that way. Other means of finding them, many of the industries have their own online communities. So check nyo sa Facebook. Baka may sarili silang Facebook group. Ando na sila, libo-libo sila sa group na yon. And when you join that, ando na, lumalangoy ka na sa blue ocean of your potential clients, and that's a great advantage for you. So hindi lang sa Facebook, meron din sa LinkedIn mga groups. So explore nyo lang whether there are groups available like that. Meron din mga Slack communities, I don't know. You can simply search for them online. Baka meron mga ganon. And so yun, or simply asking people you know, parang, hi PJ, do you know someone who is working under this industry, or meron ka bang kilala na ganito yung business, I would like to work with them, sana baka pwede mo ako i-connect. Simply by asking that, then baka may mabigay sa yung leads ng mga kakilala mo. So don't hesitate to ask your immediate network about it. So
Thank you, Coach. Ria.
Yes. Yun. Nasabi na actually lahat ni Coach Gladdy. Pero add ko lang din, if you're specializing on a platform, so for example, Canva o kaya Klaviyo, mga ganon, you can actually use that to search for your target markets. Kasi most of them are huddling up or grouping themselves na kasi because they're using the platform. So one parang way din sa akin of getting leads is yun, hanging out dun sa group kung saan sila nag-hangout. So, ita-type ko lang yung platform, tapos mag-join lang ako dun sa group. Tapos, andun na silang lahat. May mga job opportunities na, may mga questions na pwedeng ikaw na yung sumagot. Yan. So, that's one way as well.
Thank you. I like what you guys kind of alluded to. Yung sinabi ni PJ na where the party is, you need to hang out there. Kumbaga, kung ikaw, binata, naghahanap ka ng dalaga, you don't wanna hang out sa sausage party, di ba? Tama ba? Huwag ka doon sa party na puro lalaki, syempre. So you have to go where your market is. You have to go where your target, di ba? Yung target mo nga.
speaking of events, speaking of
Yes, Coach.
parties, Ron, idagdag ko lang very quickly na yung actual events, you can leverage that. Yung kung merong mga, ngayong pandemic, nagkalat yung mga online events na parang puro yung participants ng events na yun come from a single industry. Halimbawa, you can leverage those events din kasi you're literally joining a party or an event. Tapos talagang mag-network ka lang doon, you introduce yourself, introduce mo what you're doing, and start from there. Just talk to the people inside the industry, tas build relationships that way. So, yun lang. Sorry, singit.
Actually, if you think about it, many industries or many professionals have been doing this for quite some time. For example, yung sa mga wedding expos, doon nag-hangout yung mga photographer, yung mga suppliers, yung mga vendors, di ba? Kasi alam nila nandoon yung mga tao na gusto magpakasal, pupunta doon. And so it's just right for them to hang out there, to put their booth, magpakilala sila doon, mabigay ng mga business cards. And other similar industries as well. Like if you're an architect, for example, pupunta ka sa expo ng mga construction or whatever, di ba? Because it just makes sense. You're not gonna hang out in a place na wala ka namang makukuhang negosyo or business. Kaya lang, the struggle I think for most of us is when we translate that into online freelancing, nakakalimutan natin yung ganong principle na parang all of a sudden, parang sobrang hirap na niya. When in fact, it is the same principle na kung saan, sabi nga nila, di ba, pag nag-hunt ka ng ducks, wala kasing ducks dito sa Pilipinas no? Itik. Okay? Kung anong in-hunt mo, obviously, you're gonna go to where they are. Hindi naman sila lalapit sa'yo di ba, to begin with. Okay, anyway, I think we got that out of the way. Meron akong mga interesting questions na lumitaw dito sa chat natin that I kind of, copy and pasted kasi mukhang may hugot yung ibang mga questions. Okay. Si Sir Joey Caro asked, sabi niya, much has been said about choose your market and knowing your client. But the question is, how do you know who is your market or your target client? Paano mo nga ba malalaman talaga? Is there any criteria that you follow? Is there any specific process that you go through to determine na, ito yung client ko or yung target market ko? Nag-uunahan na naman. Anybody can go.
Mag-share ako regarding dyan sa, I can relate dun sa question na yan kasi yan din yung primary question ko. Sabi ko nga, I joined June and then nagka-clarity ako with regards to my target market. September na. So, how many months yung nakalipas bago ko talaga na-determine ko anong market. Well, actually, ang hirap mag-start. Pero ang naisip ko kasi noon, ang sabi kasi, ang sinabi sa akin kasi na naalala ko, don't think too much. Huwag mo masyadong mag-isip na like lumayo or kung ano, nasan ka ngayon or ano yung expertise mo. Yun na, mag-start ka doon. And then, nung nag-start ako doon, and then eventually, nasa LinkedIn na ako, tapos parang nararamdaman ko parang may mali. So, doon na yung time na nag-reach out ako, nag-research ako, and then na-realize ko na napakalaki pala, napaka-broad pa nung market, tina-target ko na market. And then, that's the time na nag-narrow down pa ako to meds pa. And hindi ako agad, nung nag-narrow down ako, hindi ako kaagad nag-stick sa meds pa. Ang ginawa ko, tinignan ko sa Google, sa LinkedIn, sa Facebook, kung gaano kalaki yung network ng meds pa. Nagpakasigurado muna ako na kapag ba, pinili ko ba tong industry na to, marami ba ako mapagpipilian? Kung nga parang hindi ko naman kailangan ng 100, kailangan ko lang kahit 1, 2, 3. Kasi hindi mo naman kayang iserve lahat yun. So, nung chinek ko yun, nakita ko yung network ng meds pa. Sabi ko, ay, ang laki. So, ang dami. So, yun sa question mo na paano mo malalaman kung yun na ba talaga yun? For me, sa katulad ng sabi ni Ma'am Chris, i-quote ko siya, you need to try it first for you to know kung ano ba talaga yung, kung hindi mo kasi malalaman kung effective ba to, or ito na ba talaga, kung hindi mo susubukan. So you need to, ang importante, you need to show up, you need to take action now. So yun yung importante. So for me, to answer your question, kung ano yung expertise mo ngayon, go search mo na kung meron ba sa Facebook na group na ganyan dun sa industry mo. Punta ka sa LinkedIn, tingnan mo yung mga owner ng ganyang certain business owners dun sa niche mo. Punta ka ng Google, research ka na kung gaano sila kalaki. Follow yung digital footprints nila. Yun.
Nice,
Yun lang.
nice. Everybody else, what are your thoughts on that? How do you determine? Do you follow a specific criteria, a process to eliminate na, ito, hindi ito, may iba pa? How do you go about choosing that market?
Ayun, ako muna. So, pwedeng, yun, na kung nasan ka na, nandun, yun na yung piliin mong market. Pwede rin na kung saan ka interesado. Like, for example, kung nasa healthcare ka, pero interested ka sa weddings. So, mag-research ka na doon about doon sa market na yun. Kung sino ba yung market na under doon sa industry na yun. It doesn't have to be naman na, yun na, kung ano na yung unang pinili mo, doon ka na talaga. Kasi you can always change your market based doon sa data na makukuha mo. Baka pag pinili mo sila, hindi pala swak yung offer mo doon sa kanila. So, pwede kang lumipat.
Got it. Thank you, Ria. PJ?
In addition lang doon, tama. Well, paano ko sabihin? Minsan may forever, minsan hindi. 'Di ba? We just have to admit it na minsan yung market na mapipili mo, hindi yun talaga yung forever mo. So, again, just to piggyback on what Reg said, you have to back it with data. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, ayoko na. Kasi I learned it that way din. Parang ayoko na kasi wala lang, di ko lang feel. Kailangan mo talaga siyang i-back up. In fact, baka nga magpalit din ako ng market, di ba? Kasi based on data, kailangan lagi siyang based on data na nagko-connect ba ako enough? Ginawa ko na ba talaga lahat? Parang relasyon lang yan. Ginawa ko na ba talaga lahat? In-effortan ko na ba talaga? Inaraw-araw ko bang i-show na mahal ko tong market na to? Kailangan niya ba ako? Mahirap ba akong mahalin? Et cetera, et cetera. So para talaga siyang relasyon. So huwag kang mag-give up. Let's say, di ba, pag pumili ka ng market, so sige, gagawin mo lahat, di ba, to make it work. So pag talagang hindi swak at ginawa mo na lahat, then doon ka mag-isip. Pero wag lang yung parang, hindi ko feel bukas ulit. Iba eh. Kasi ang disadvantage din nun, pag palit ka ng market, alam mo yung parang back to zero ka ulit. Parang again, relasyon. Kailangan mo na naman ng getting to know and everything. So yun. So, when you choose a market, maganda kung yun na yun. Pero if ever man it doesn't work out, pwede ka magpalit. Basta gawin mo muna lahat.
Nice. Thank you. Dami hugot ni PJ doon, ano? Coach, anything else you want to add to that?
Yes. Sa totoo lang, you can you can choose any market you want. As in, ang dami-daming types of businesses meron. Gusto niyong tulungan yung mga gumagawa ng mugs, okay lang. Kung gusto niyong tulungan yung mga ano ba, nagtatahi ng damit, I don't know. Basta kung ano man yung naiisip niyo, you can definitely choose that. But ano ba nung criteria? Going back to Ron's question na, ano ba yung magandang criteria to determine whether a market is ano ba, good, is viable? Parang
Mhm.
is it worth pursuing? Parang ganon.
Yes.
So to
Oo.
make things simple, you can start with these two criteria. So number 1, madali ba silang hanapin? So pag sinearch nyo ba sila halimbawa sa Facebook, may nakikita ba kayo mga Facebook groups na andun sila lahat, libo-libo sila doon? Madali ba silang hanapin that way when you do search sa Google, ang dami-dami bang nagka-come up na businesses kayo nakikita under that market, then madali silang makita. Madali silang i-reach out. Halimbawa, nasa immediate network mo na sila, madami kang kakilala ng kakilala mo, may mga ganong klaseng business owners. So they're accessible. Madali mo silang lapitan na, hey, kumusta? Ganun. Parang, do you need help with whatever, ganyan? Ano bang biggest problems ngayon? Madali na for you to talk to them. That's number 1. Number
Mhm.
2 is, madami ba sila? Baka madali silang makita, pero tipong 20 lang pala sila sa industry na yon. Medyo limited yung, ano ba, yung chances mo for ano ba, of getting them as clients, kasi if you strike out with, let's say, half of them, you only have 10 chances to close clients in that industry, which limits your network right away.
Mhm.
Yung pool mo of potential clients sobrang liit lang.
Yep.
So that's another good criteria, kasi pag madaming-madami sila, let's say libo-libo sila, more than 20,000 silang under that market, then you have a lot of chances to connect with them, para reach out to them na parang, hi, I'm PJ, ganito, I'm doing this, ganyan. And madami ka ring chances of, kung nag-fail ka, your first few tries of getting to know them, getting to know what their problems are, hindi ka nila pinapansin, if you struck out, let's say 1,000 times, you still have like 19,000 times to succeed, diba?
Right.
So you can start with those two initial criteria first. Don't overthink it. Basta madali mo silang makita, and ang dami-dami nila in that market. That's already a great potential target market for you.
Thank you for your answers. I wanna kind of add my answer as well. Although sinabi ni Coach Gladdy, Sir Joey, kung nakikinig ka, kasi the question was, how do you know if it's your chosen market na, di ba? Really, the choice is up to you. At the end of the day, nobody's gonna say, ito piliin mo. We can say all we want, di ba? Pwede namin sabihin ito, fitness, gusto mo sa relationship market ka, gusto mo sa ganito. It really is up to you. I always say every market is viable. There's always a market for everyone. Kahit gaano kaliit yung market na yan. Siguro to illustrate my point, halimbawa, if you're not doing digital marketing, you're doing traditional businesses in your area, kahit pa ang targetin mo lang is yung mga specialist hairdressers ninyo doon, that's still a market that you can serve. So really, it's up to you. Pero kumbaga, for the intent of illustrating, kasi nga online freelancing yung ginagawa natin, I'll go with what Coach Gladdy mentioned kanina, na the two things that you wanna kind of consider when you're looking for your market is, yun nga, are they easily accessible? Madali mo ba silang ma-reach? Pangalawa, are there plenty of them? Marami ba sila? And the reason why we want to do that is, yung una, accessibility is so important because when you start crafting your offer, it's all gonna depend on kung ano yung mga problema na sinasabi ng market. And you can't craft an offer unless you start talking to your market. Pangalawa, there should be plenty of them kasi yung dami ng responses that you'll get from them will determine whether the offer that you're crafting is something that you can sell or not. So those two considerations. Kasi kung wala naman palang bibili, 'di ba, sa gusto mong ibenta, then it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Um, so those two things para sa akin are the two things na dapat i-consider na criteria, and that makes it so much easier for you to pick a market. Now, on to the connecting part na tayo. Kasi pinag-usapan na naman, bumabalik lagi dyan, no? Anyway, sa pag-usapan na natin, may question pa tayo rito. So now that you've determined your market, you know where they hang out. Alam mo na kung nasa na sila. Nakita mo na nasa LinkedIn sila, nasa Facebook sila, nasa Instagram sila. How do you then start your conversations with them? Ano ba yung mga first few things that you want to say to this, yung chosen market mo? Ano yung mga, what are your go-to, kumbaga, pick-up lines? Ika nga. Di ba? Ano yung mga pick-up lines niyo to get their attention? Dapat lalaki yung mga no? Pero sige, mukhang magaling tong mga pumick up eh. Ano yung mga go-to lines ninyo?
I can answer, Ron.
Go.
So I think what works then for me whenever I connect is to be really personal and thoughtful about it.
Mhm.
Because there are templates, but it's your personal touch, as we say, na that can really move the conversation further. Kasi, we don't like to be sold to. So similarly, ang clients, they also don't like yung mga kape tayo, mga ganyan tipong
Right.
conversation. So just be very thoughtful about the messages you send. And kasi social media platforms, they are social. So you are also conversing to a human being, getting to know them. Example, if you are following their posts, you can compliment whatever they post. Of course, they have to be real din, di ba? Engage in a conversation. Kasi if you're trying to sell them something straight away, then parang doon na nagsa-stop yung conversation. Masi-sense din nila yun. Similarly, pag tayo binibentahan, pinipili tayo, ayaw natin. Ganun din ang mga prospect natin. Be very thoughtful, be very personal, and be very courteous about it. So, yung mga ginagawa din natin as a freelancer, like pag may mga value posts or mga posts yung mga prospect natin, pwede tayong mag-cheerlead sa kanila. Bakit? Because when we do that, we become top of mind na, let's say, si Gladys, lagi siya nagko-comment sa posts ko. They feel so special, di ba? So, once you break that barrier, parang you're getting to know each other, then the conversation becomes easier.
So, follow them. Ano sabi mo? Parang, kumbaga, take it easy when you're having your initial conversations. Wag magbenta agad.
Yeah, tsaka be
Diba?
personal. Like, pag nakikipag-usap, parang normal, tao din lang naman sila eh. So,
Right.
di ba parang pag personal na nga na nakikipag-usap tayo, di ba minsan parang we can be apprehensive about it. What I like about virtual, yung business natin as freelancing, yun nga, the possibilities are endless. You are connecting with different people all around the world. So, yung dati, kanina napag-usapan natin, di ba may mga wedding expos. Ito kasi virtual, so ang daming possibilities to meet people from other countries, learn from them. So just be open and strike up a conversation and just be yourself. Kasi malalaman din nila, mafe-feel nila pag you're being pretentious.
Cool. Now, Coach and Ria, I'm gonna stop here muna dun sa question na yun kasi medyo marami tayong questions pa na pumapasok. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna throw a question and then ask one or two people to answer para medyo ma-cover din natin siya lahat. Okay? So we've talked about yung initial na conversations. So as per PJ, just like any other conversation that you're having with a new friend, wag naman yung sige-sige ka agad, diba? You don't ask somebody to marry you on the first date, ika nga. Hindi pwede yun. So, kailangan medyo getting to know you stage muna kayo. Okay? Now, sabi naman ni Raquel, another question that we got from the viewers is, ang struggle ko talaga is how to insert a conversation namin yung knowing their problem. I think what she's trying to say is, paano ko makukuha from them kung ano yung problema nila? Yon. Coach Gladys, ikaw kaya sumagot nito?
Okay. Ang tawag dito. So, put yourself in the position in the shoes of the person you're trying to ask. Parang kung ikaw yung tatanungin about the problem, what would make you open up more? What would make you parang trusting enough, confident enough para i-share yung mga problems mo about your
Mhm.
business? Kasi let's face it, we don't just share our problems to anyone, lalo kapag hindi mo pa naman kilala. Pagkaka-message lang sa'yo sa social media, halimbawa, hi. Hi pa lang yung hi pa lang yung conversation ninyo, hi, hello pa lang. Tapos biglang tanong ka na agad na, what's your biggest problem ba sa business mo, ganyan. Sasagutin mo ba agad? Di ba hindi naman? So, babalik tayo dun sa sinabi ni PJ kanina na, you build rapport muna. You have conversations with them na hindi mo na asking a favor kasi you're technically asking them for a favor. Like, you want them to answer something na specific sa kailangan mo. Kailangan ko malaman yung problem mo bago I will be able to help you. So before asking them for anything, build rapport muna. Talk about something they're interested in. This is personally what I do is especially kapag magko-connect pa lang ako, 'di ba pag sa social media minsan hindi pa naman tayo message agad unless they add us to their personal network muna. So sa pag-reach out ko pa lang I send them a personalized message na agad about what I like about their business, or parang halimbawa nakita ko sila somewhere tapos magdo-drop ako ng short compliment about why I became interested to connect with them. So yun, parang tumataas yung chances ko of getting added to their personal network by doing that. By simply dropping that personalized line na parang, ang galing-galing nyo dito, or I really like what you do, yung mission ng business nyo, whatever, parang ganon. So parang may connection na kayo agad na that way. Tapos i-continue na lang dun sa chat na parang, yun, parang I really love what you do. Can you tell me more about it? Ganyan. Oy, oo nga, nakita ko sa ganun. So, you make them tell you about, you allow them to talk about themselves kasi most of the time we love talking about ourselves and the business that we have. So, build rapport muna that way. Make them comfortable talking to you muna. That's a good way of parang magsa-segue ka na later on sa kapag medyo chika levels na kayo or ramdam mo na medyo tinatrust ka na niya sharing bits about their business, you can ask permission na parang, can I ask you a quick question? Kasi you can give context then why you're asking that question about their problem. Kasi kapag out of the blue mo tinanong, what's your biggest problem, ganyan. So, parang, saan galing yan? So, if you give them a context, let's say, halimbawa, can I ask a quick question to you? Kasi I'm in the process of really understanding your industry. I'm trying to learn about it, learn more about the businesses that's in this industry. Kasi yun nga, parang I really want to help business owners in this market. So I have a question for you. Is it okay if I ask it? Parang ganun. So may context na sila na parang, okay, magtatanong siya kasi ito yung intention niya. So if they already have that, then mas open na sila to answer. Sige, go ahead. Make a question quick lang. Then hindi mo naman sila papadala ng parang 20 questions in one go, di ba? So parang make it really quick lang din para masagot nila agad. Then yun, saka you feel your way around it na lang na parang if you can ask follow-up questions after that or what. Depende na dun sa response na makuha mo. But be very careful about, yun nga, building that trust first. Yung rapport first before asking them to do anything for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. And I often see that mistake being made by a lot of freelancers, especially in the last year or so. And this is something, ako rin, when I started out, I made the same mistake of asking people what their struggles were in their business too early in the conversation. Yung tipong you're just, first meeting nyo pa lang, first conversation ninyo, a few exchanges pa lang, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're gonna ask it. Lalo na yung line na yun. when it comes to ganito, ganyan, ganyan? What's your biggest struggle? And it's become sort of a cliche in the, in the online business space. It's become so overused. Kaya we really need to be super careful. In fact, if you can rephrase it, it might be a better way. I mean, of course, consider first kung kailan mo itatanong. Wag too early. And then at the same time, if you can rephrase it, para din hindi siya parang kinopy-paste mo sa iba, it might be a good idea as well. I just want to go quickly to a question na nasa sa chat natin. Kasi si Maurice Pasco said, if I have an email list of my prospects, how do I approach? Diretso na ba sa offer? I think si John actually is answering through through chat. Pero pagdating sa list, if somebody has an email list, I think yun nga tama yung question ni John una. The first question you need to ask is, how did you build that list? Was it did you get that list by people opting into something? Were you upfront in collecting their email addresses about para sa marketing purposes mo? And also, were you offering a different product to begin with nung na-collect mo yung list na yan? So there's so many things that you need to consider if it's a list. Now, if you were to ask me if it's a list that you got from somebody else, binili mo, binigay sa'yo, whatever, and walang idea tong nasa list na to who you are, I'd be super careful sending out messages to that list because you're definitely gonna be tagged as spam. So, and especially if you want to offer something right away. So, in the context of connecting with prospects, sino yung nagtanong ulit? Si Maurice. Maurice, if you have that list, you might want to be super careful una where you got that list. Pangalawa, consider what sort of communication you're gonna be having with them. Talagang kailangan maging maingat ka doon. Anyway, going back to our questions. So tapos na tayo dun, ano? So you don't really offer right away. And you don't ask that question about their problem as well. Yung iba, medyo similar question. Ito si Kate. Kay Ria natin itanong to. I have a question po. Kasi mukhang introvert si Ria eh. I'm an introvert kasi and nervyosa. Okay? How do you cope up with this pagpipitch sa mga clients? Nakabuild na ako ng rapport and I think it's time to invite my client for a DC but feel ko mauutal ako during the call. Please share then what are your routines. Meron ba kayong routines before a DC? Ria, ikaw? Hindi ka naman yata introvert. Mukhang kayang-kaya mo makipag-usap sa mga kliyente. Or have you had this struggle in the past?
Yes po. Actually, introvert din ako. Mahihayin talaga ako.
Okay.
Ganito. Yeah. So yun, sa akin, if, ayun, nakabuild ka na ng rapport and everything, tapos invite mo siya on a call, I think the best way to do it is, yung parang nag-iimbita ka lang ng kaibigan. So, invite mo siya in a way na hindi mo siya bebentahan, pero sort of like, get to know each other, tapos, get, personal, basta be a safe space din for that person para makapag-open up siya sa'yo. Routine-wise, wala naman akong routine, pero I make it a point lang na when I invite the prospect or the lead on a call, comfortable siya. So, if for example, parang ganito recorded yung call, ipapaalam ko na beforehand na it's gonna be a recorded call, tapos kung ano yung purpose, ano yung time, para at least when during the call itself, alam na niya kung ano yung pag-uusapan namin.
Cool. So, just prep them, kumbaga set expectations.
Yes.
Diba? Para alam. Do you often have a copy of the things that you want to ask them, or do you kind of know it by heart already?
If it's a script na that you're referring to, like a list of questions na I do have a prep list, pero sa kakatanong ko kasi nakabisado ko na siya.
Yeah.
Pero if hindi mo pa siya kabisado, or if you're new in the whole thing of getting clients on a DC, you can prepare a list. I-inform mo lang siya na si client mo or si prospect mo na, oh, by the way, I prepared a list of questions. Is it okay if I go through them one by one? So para at least aware siya na may list kang tinitignan kasi some people or some client or lead, pag tingin ka ng tingin do'n sa ibang side ng screen, mapapansin din kasi nila na may list ka na
Yeah.
tinitignan, and
Mhm.
it shows na parang hindi ka prepared while in fact prepared ka naman. So, it wouldn't hurt kapag in-inform mo na sila beforehand that you have that list.
Yeah, might as well let them know na meron kang
Yeah.
naka-prepare na list, di ba? Okay,
Mm.
it makes sense. Anyway, before we go with the other questions that we have from our viewers, I just want to quickly go and inform yung audience natin kasi baka medyo may iba nalilitaw ng DC. DC stands for Discovery Call. Basically, it's a part of the process that we teach freelancers that they need to go through. It's sort of like an interview with the client, but instead of the client asking you questions, it's the other way around. Parang you flip the roles and you become the one that's interviewing them and asking them questions. Kaya tawag siya discovery call because you're trying to discover certain things about the business that might be important to you to be able to deliver the services to the client. Now, I also want to say for everybody who's watching, you may or may not be part of the community just yet. But if you have no idea kung ano yung community natin, like I said, we're probably going to provide the link later on para for those who want to join the community can do so. But if you're part of the community already, and this is maybe the second, third, or fourth video that you've seen from us, and you feel like yung mga pinag-uusapan namin dito, yung mga templates, those, principles that they learned about, whether what it is that you need to do on your first conversations, etc. All of those things are being taught inside the Freelance Movement Tribe. Like I mentioned, that is the paid program ng Freelance Movement. Ayun, pinapakita ni Coach Gladys sa likod niya. Okay? So the tribe is a paid program. It's a membership program where freelancers can come in and learn, principles of freelancing. Actually, I'd like to call it more of business principles rather than freelancing principles. Medyo naka-disguise lang na in freelancing kasi yun yung space that we're moving in. But we teach all of those things, what to say, how to connect, where to find your clients, what messages you send to them, how do you do emails, how do you do reach outs through social platforms, etc. Everything, the whole gamut. Sabi nga nila, gamut talaga, gamut. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about the tribe and what you get if you're part of the tribe, please comment with the word tribe dito sa comment section natin. Okay, comment with the word tribe. Again, kung member na kayo ng tribe, please refrain from commenting. Hindi na namin kailangan yung comment nyo. But if you're not a member of the tribe just yet, but you're curious to find out if the tribe can help you in your freelance journey, whether you're starting out or you've already got a bit of experience, it doesn't matter. We will be happy to send information through our success managers. So meron tayong mga success managers who are watching right now. If you comment, they're gonna tag you, or I think they're gonna respond to your message and send you a private message. So watch out sa message quest folder ninyo because they might land there. Baka hindi nyo makita yung mga messages nila, and they'll go through a bit of a process to see if you can qualify to be part of the tribe. Okay, so again, just comment tribe whether you're watching this live or on replay. We will make sure to have somebody reach out to you within 24 hours. Yan yung promise namin. Kasi wala na kaming backlog from last year. O, di ba? Hooray. So, 24 hours, we're going to make sure that somebody's going to reach out to you. Anyway, going back, we have, we spend a few more minutes. Ano ba sabi sa inyo? We're going to spend 2 hours dito, di ba? Yun ba sabi sa inyo? Hindi nyo alam? 1 hour and a half lang naman. Okay. Let's see. Depende, no? Okay. Now that we've covered, yun na nga, no, determining which market to serve, we've determined the ways to find them, saan natin nahanapin, what do we need to say at the onset, when do we start asking certain questions, pati yung DC inabot na natin, when you're gonna invite them to a call and find out more about their business. What comes after? Ngayon na nag-connect ka na, ang dami mo nang na-connect. 'Di ba? Ang dami mo ng tao na na-reach out, ang dami mo nang nakausap. Okay? I guess the question first is, ano ba yung data? What data do you need from these people? Ano sa inyo? What are the common things na tinatanong ninyo from this group of people that you call your target market? And bakit ba kailangan natin ng marami sila? bakit kailangan natin mag-connect sa kanila talaga? Ano yung bottom line natin doon? Gail, ikaw. Parang ready ka na sumagot eh.
Hindi pa ako ready, pero may idea ako dun sa question mo, Sir Ron. With regards dun sa data, kasi 'di ba nga nandun tayo sa situation na kung saan inaaral pa rin natin yung market natin, like ano ba yung fit na skill or offer or service para isolve yung problems or challenges nila. So you asked na bakit kailangan ba ng marami? Ano yung
Ba't
commonly?
di pwedeng tatlo lang?
Oo, bakit di pwedeng
Di ba?
tatlo, kailangan marami? Hindi pwedeng isa, dalawa, tatlo, kailangan
Oo.
marami. So for me kasi, ako kasing ginagawa ko like sa Instagram, I really engage sa madami. And then from there, nagkakaroon ako ng idea, ano ba yung commonly na inaaral ko sila, characteristics, paano yung galawan nila, like posting nila and everything. Since social media or Instagram marketing yung offer ko, natutunan ko na i-adapt kung paano yung ways nila with dun sa platform na yon. And then dahil nga marami yung connectan ko, so mas nakikita ko kung ano yung common problem or common challenges. Kasi nakikita mo naman yun especially if ang offer mo is like Instagram marketing. Siyempre nasa Instagram ka, di ba? Alam mo na kaagad yan, makikita mo nag-engage ba to, gumagamit ba ng hashtags to, yung captioning ba niya, nag-emoji ba siya, yung profile niya, pag vinisip mo, naka-optimize ba, something like that. Alam ko medyo technical or medyo skill-related, pero lahat ng to, natutunan ko to dahil kaka-engage ko dun sa hindi lang isa, dalawa, tatlong target client. So sabi ko nga, wala akong idea kung ano yung social media before, especially Instagram, wala akong idea dyan. Natutunan ko siya simula nung nag-engage ako, then nag-connect ako, and then nalaman ko, nakuha ko kung ano yung pinaka-challenges nila or problem dun sa specific na niche na yon. Since makikita mo kasi when you notice na halimbawa kulang yung hashtags, hindi mo maiwasan, lalo na sa tribe kasi ang ini-encourage tayo to always give value, to always come from a place of help. So, hindi ko maiwasan na parang magda-direct message ako. Kahit na sabihin mo na wala akong previous connection, minsan magsasabi ako, bibigyan ko ng tips. Parang, hi there, parang gano'n. Hi there, I noticed you're using less than 30 hashtags. Tapos binibigyan ko ng mga tips and then binibigyan ko ng tool na pwedeng gamitin, something like that. And then from there, sila mismo nag-open up sa akin na hindi ko na kailangan magtanong ng SMIQ. Hindi ko na kailangan mag-SMIQ na parang, what's your biggest challenge? Hindi ko na kailangan ng gano'n. Minsan nag-send na sila ng message na I've been having problem with regards to this and that, ganyan. So parang naging eto na yung naging routine ko. So parang naging routine ko siya. So sa SMIQ, dun sa hindi nakakaalam, yung single most what do you call this? Yung pinaka-challenge nila. Yun yung pinakamadaling sabihin. Kung ano yung pinaka-single
most important question.
Important question. Or yung pinaka-single biggest challenge nila or problem nila at the moment with regards to like sa offer ko is Instagram marketing and dun sa niche ko sa MedSpa. Kumaga Instagram marketing for MedSpa business. So from there, yung data, kanina pa kasi nababanggit yung sa data. So, hindi kasi pwede na wala tayong metrics to measure kung ano yung mga ginagawa natin. So, very important na to gather data. Even, di ba kanina, Sir Ron, nabanggit ko din yung market research ako, wala pa akong clarity with regards to my target clients. Nabanggit ko din na anong ginawa ko. Pumunta ako sa Facebook, nagtingin ako ng groups, kung may available ba na MedSpa groups or may mga business owner ba doon. Nabanggit din ni Coach Gladdy, pumunta ka ng LinkedIn kung gaano ba sila karami. Hindi naman kasi pwedeng 20 lang. Kasi sa 20 na yon parang, di ba, paano pagkawala na, yun na yun, di ba? So, kailangan madami. So, yung data, medyo technical na i-explain, pero para mas madali siyang maintindihan. Always kailangan natin ng madami. Kailangan natin ng madami, hindi pwedeng isa lang. Dahil sabi nga ni PJ, may tendency kasi na hindi kasi pa pwede na malay mo hindi talaga para kayo sa isa't isa. So may tendency, at least meron ka pa, kung may 1,000 kang connection, at least may 999 ka pa. So parang, you have this bigger network. So hindi kasi pwedeng paubaya ka lang paubaya, tapos wala lang matitira sa'yo. So kailangan, pagka nagpaubaya ka, meron ka pa rin naman. Kumbaga parang meron kang, di ko makuha yung term eh. Pero iba kasi yung naisip ko, ayokong baka maiba yung topic. Sorry. Pero parang, I'm not sure kung medyo clear or ano yung sinasabi ko. Pero I guess medyo naiintindihan nyo kung bakit importante na yung continuous connection everyday, daily, dapat nagko-connect. Yan isa yun sa mga pinapractice natin sa tribe na to connect with your prospect every day, na consistent ka nagko-connect, at least 5, okay lang yan, at least consistent. So yun, isa din yun sa tip. Yun, nabanggit ko na naman yung hashtag paubay. Sorry.
That's okay, Gail. Thank you very much
Thank
for sharing
you.
that. We're close to wrapping up itong AMA session natin. I hope a lot of people found really valuable tips and yung mga actionable items na i-share ng panel natin. Before we wrap up though, and I'm gonna kind of wrap up at the end. I want to ask si PJ and si Ria and si Coach Gladdy. When it comes to connecting, what would be, share with us your final thoughts kung ano yung mga things that people need to keep in mind. If we haven't mentioned things na baka may nakalimutan tayo during this interview, pero what would be para sa inyo, what are the most important things that people need to keep in mind when they're connecting, when they're starting to connect with their prospects? Let's start with Gia.
Okay. So to keep in mind lang, always be genuine in terms of asking questions. So be interested then, show your interest, kasi if you fake it, they will sense it. So always be genuine and always provide or be a safe space to your leads so that they can open up to you about their personal stuff or their problems in terms of their business.
Cool. So be honest. Sakto-sakto yung tanong ni Rose Ann sa chat natin. What if the prospect asks for credibility? Like if you already did the work for the past, will you confess that you're not doing? Yeah, definitely say. Just say you're interested in it. You'd like to get into the industry and help the people in that industry. Just be honest. Sakto yung sagot ni Ria. PJ.
I just want to say din na sa tribe kasi natutunan ko na freelancing is a business. So we are all business owners. So we just don't, do the part, we look the part. What do I mean by that? If we are going to connect with someone, syempre, di ba, we are courteous, we are very professional. Now, when they schedule a discovery call with us, we have to be professional too. Di ba? We can be like very, maraming introvert sa atin, very shy tayo. We can actually do little things to boost our confidence. And how? Little things like, being on time. If your discovery call is at 3 o'clock, then you start at 3 o'clock. Like what Reg kanina, what she said, ask permission. If you're going to record the call, ask permission. Now, if you have a list and feeling mo makakalimutan mo, again, inform the client na you have to go through a list just to make sure na you don't miss on anything. Another thing is, imagine it as a meeting with a client na personal. So you have to dress up din. Kahit simple lang naman, di ba? Hindi ka naman kailangan sobrang made up, but you have to appear professional. Kasi, people can be very judgmental. We cannot deny that fact. So we have to look professional so that yung clients din natin will also treat us in a professional way. And then, if you have to spritz on perfume to add the confidence, why not? Go ahead. The bottom line is, again, like what Reg said, you have to make the client feel comfortable, and you yourself, you have to be comfortable with yourself, with how you will be presenting yourself, the environment. You can create that environment na comfortable para ma-ace mo yung discovery call mo. And kanina may nagtanong sa chat, nabasa ko paano pag naging parang interview? Nangyari yan sa akin dati. The thing is, yung tinuturo din kasi sa tribe, how to, be in control of the conversation. Lagi ko to narinig ikaw yung doktor, sila yung pasyente. So, you are there to help them. Kailangan mong ma-diagnose na yung problem nila. Yun lang.
Thank you. Very well said, PJ. Final thoughts, Coach.
Okay. So, connecting with prospective clients, maraming ways to do that. Pero ang final thought ko lang for tonight is that whatever means you use to connect with your ideal clients, be clear with your objective. Ano ba nung reason mo for connecting? Kasi doon magsisimula doon magagaling ang confidence mo when you're clear na alam mo you're connecting to really get to know what their problems are. Doon ka palagi manggagaling. And it has to be clear with you before you before you talk to your prospective client para sa kanila din aware sila. And when you connect, um, when you really try to get to know what their problems are, kasi that's the only way we can really help them. Di ba freelancing is all about solving problems. So in order for us to solve their problems, we need to know what the problems are. And in doing that, dadagdagan ko yung hashtag natin for tonight ng hashtag bawal asumera. You don't assume. Never assume na kasi itong business, I've been talking to a lot of business owners dito sa market na to, ganito yung usual problem nila. You don't assume. Wag kayo mag-assume kasi nakita nyo lang yung website nila. Ito kasi yung problem nila. Kaya tayo nagko-connect in the first place. That's why we talk to them. We uncover their problems sa chat. We hop on a call with them even after we chat with them para to get to the root cause of their problems talaga. We have that full picture, full image of what their problems are about. We do all those things kasi we don't want to assume na ito kasi yung kailangan nyo. Ito yung ibibigay ko kasi ito yung sa tingin ko kailangan nyo. We don't do that. So, yun lang, be clear with your intention, and when you uncover their problems through connecting with them, through talking to them, wag kayo mag-a-assume. Never assume, and yun, try to really uncover what they're going through, what their problems are by genuinely connecting, reaching out to them and conversing with them. Yan lang.
Thank you very much, Coach. Talagang in-emphasize ni Coach, guys. Wag assumptionista. Okay, pwedeng lasalista, pwedeng atinista, wag assumptionista. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Ria. Thank you, PJ, Gail, Coach Gladdy. Salamat for gracing this AMA session. I'm sure lahat ng nanonood learned a thing or two. Kahit isa lang natutunan nila tonight, that would be, we've done our job in at least letting them know what they need to focus on. Just to wrap things up, we talked about connecting. We talked about reaching out. We talked about determining how to best kumbaga, communicate with your target market or your client or your whoever it is that you're looking to work with. Siguro for me, just final thoughts. If you're on the fence and you think that what we're talking about here, yung connecting, is something that you can do away with, na parang you can just simply, kagaya sinabi ni Coach Lad, you can just assume that people have these problems and you're just gonna offer your solution right away. Then you might want to think again kasi yun nga, sinabi na ni Gail, every decision that you're gonna make in your freelance business has to be backed up by data and information coming from the market that you want to serve. Basically, at the end of the day, that's all there is to it. Kumbaga, kailangan sabi nila, it comes from the horse's mouth. Kailangan sila nagsabi. Because it's more true to them. It becomes more urgent for them to solve the problem if they describe it the way they do. Hindi yung ikaw ang nagsasabi na ito yung problema nila. And the only way you can get all of that data is by connecting. It's as simple as that. Hindi mo kayang mag-formulate ng solution for a problem that you do not know. Yun siguro from the point of view of someone na yung they've talked about coming from a place of health. They've talked about um being clear with your intentions. From a business standpoint, you have to be operating under yung pretense na I have to know what's going on. Hindi ko pwedeng hulaan to. Hindi ko pwedeng hulaan ng business because that's not a good strategy for your business. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a thing or two sa ginawa natin this evening. We're gonna have another session, obviously. Para dun sa mga first time nakapanood nito, we hold these AMA sessions twice a month, every other Thursday. So next week wala tayo, but we will have our regular schedule of interviews. And just to tease you guys, okay? Kasi nakausap ko na yung guest natin for the next interview. Yung guest natin for the next interview last year had her back against the wall. She traveled to Manila from Tacloban with nothing but 5,000 pesos in her bank account and nothing to support her. And she relied on freelancing. Okay. And as of kanina, during our conversation, she is now closing deals of upwards of 300,000 per month. And ito just a year ago, she had no money, literally. Nakikitira, walang pera. Sorry, pagagalitan ako ni Chris kasi sa teaser niya to dapat eh. Pero I just couldn't help it. Para abangan nyo next week. Next Monday rather. Nakikitira, she had 5,000 pesos left in the bank account. And she had no family here. She had nothing. Tapos, right now, she's at like 300,000 a month. And sabi niya kanina, she just bought 2 cars and a house and lot in a condo. So, I mean, more than, it's more than the financial impact that it's done to her. Pero, she's just 22 years old. Imagine the possibilities. Anyway, enough of that. I'll leave that to Chris to give the teaser to you guys. But thank you once again for watching, everybody. Thank you, Ria. Thank you, PJ, Gail, Coach Gladdy. It was nice to see you guys again. Sana hindi ito yung last time na we'll have you as guests. We'll have a part 2 with you guys. Salamat, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you on Monday for the interview. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye!